Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior. We are broadcasting on Callin. This is also airing on YouTube. Make sure you download the Callin app by going to chatsports.com/49ers Callin. You can download it on your iPhone and your Android devices. That link available in the comment section and the description of this video. The Callin app, live interactive podcasting app that's like Twitter Spaces, but even better. Cannot wait to hear from the faithful as I have an opportunity every single week to answer all of your calls. I'll get to those calls here in just a few moments, but on today's show, I cooked up a list of the 10 most important Niners going into the 2022 season. Before we take a look at that list, I want to hear from you in the comment section right now. Who do you think is the most important person on the Niners going into 2022, a very pivotal season for this franchise? We start off at number one. I think that the most important person on the San Francisco roster is Trent Williams, and let me explain why. If he were to get hurt on an already thin offensive line, I think the 49ers would be screwed. He's the highest ranked player in the NFL last year, according to Pro Football Focus. Probably the most dominant player in the NFL on both sides of the ball, right up there with Aaron Donald, in my opinion, at arguably the most important position outside of quarterback, and he's protecting the blind side of Trey Lance. If Trey Lance has to worry about getting beaten and battered in the pocket, he loses confidence. Worst case scenario, he gets hurt, and then the 49ers season, which does have Super Bowl aspirations, goes right down the tube. At number two, speaking of Trey Lance, my number two most important Niner going into 2022. A lot of the Niners' success, in my opinion, during this upcoming season hinges on Lance just playing adequately. I don't think he has to be a Pro Bowl caliber player. I don't think he has to be an MVP candidate. I think he has to be solid. I think he has to be consistent. He has to have a firm grasp on Kyle Shanahan's offense. But if he plays poorly or if he does get hurt, Jimmy Garoppolo may be here to save the day. He may not be. And if Nate Sudfeld has to take meaningful snaps for the Niners this upcoming year, I think that is a huge problem for the 49ers. Trey Lance, I have all the confidence in the world that he is going to be a very solid player. That's why, given his importance, he is number two on my list. At number three, it's Nick Bosa. Coming off a year in which he had 15.5 sacks, he's the ultimate game changer and game wrecker. In today's NFL, given the rule changes and elite level quarterback play where opposing quarterbacks can slice and dice you, if you can't get pressure on the quarterback, your defense, you will just get carved up. And Bosa is a constant threat to drop a quarterback in the backfield, force an errant throw, which could then lead to a turnover. And when it comes down to win a game and lock a win down, Nick Bosa can come through with the biggest plays in the guts of the game and cause a strip sack. He's one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and he comes in at number three. At number four, we go back to the offensive side of the rock. It's Deebo Samuel, who is a special and unique player who can change the complexion of a game through the air and on the ground. Injuries and style of play, certainly a concern, as he has failed to play an entire season so far up to this point. But when you watch him, it forces you to ask this question to yourself. Have we seen this before? And last year, have we ever seen a season like that from a playmaker at that wide receiver, wide back role? I think the answer to that question is no. Now, who gets paid more? Both are due for big contracts. Is it Nick Bosa, who we already talked about, type NB? Is it Deebo Samuel, who we just talked about, type DS? I'm fielding all of your responses in the comment section right now. At number five, we go to the coaching ranks. It's Kyle Shanahan. I thought the adjustments that he was able to make following that 3-5 start to finish the year 10-7 were really impressive. Second trip to the NFC title game over the span of 3 years. A huge playoff run, taking down the Cowboys and the Packers on the road as underdogs. And my big question for Kyle Shanahan and what I want to see from him: can Shanny keep the momentum going from last year where he was really criticized throughout that arduous and bumpy start to the year? And it's a big year for him if he keeps this momentum going, and a big season for him because the development of Trey Lance, it's on his shoulders. He has to call plays to put Trey Lance in an advantageous position to succeed, to maximize his talent. And there were a lot of changes to the coaching staff. Mike McDaniel out, Rich Gangarello out. A lot of changes to that coaching staff to build up Trey Lance, but show us, Kyle Shanahan, that you're the offensive whiz kid. He is vitally important for San Francisco going into the 2022 campaign. At number 6, Charvarius Ward. Right now, the 49ers finally, going into the year, have a legitimate number one cornerback. And when you look at some of the deep dive analytics, they show last year with Kansas City that he played like one of the best defensive backs in the league last year. He got paid like it. Now it's time to prove you're worth the money. Niner secondary, in my opinion, a lot more depth than last year in 2021. And this defensive secondary and Charvarius Ward should be able to eat with the talent and the depth along the defensive line as well as with that linebacking core. A couple more players to get to here. Number 7, Fred Warner, the all-captain and the all-pro. He admitted after getting that contract extension a year ago that he didn't play up to his standards, but he was a huge part of that Niners turnaround after the aforementioned 3-5 start, one of the best defenders in the league, arguably the best linebacker, and a huge leader for this team. Pressure is on him to once again have another all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber season. At number 8, it's George Kittle. The offensive line is suspect outside of Trent Williams. Is Jalen Moore going to start at left guard, or is it going to be Aaron Banks? Who's going to start at center? Is it going to be Jake Brendel at right guard? Is it going to be Daniel Brunskill? How does Mike McGlinchey come off that torn quad? And because of that, George Kittle might need to provide more protection for Trey Lance in the pass game as well as in the run game. So pass bro, he could be asked to flank one of the tackles. The run game is a huge calling card for Kyle Shanahan's offense. We also know that George Kittle is dynamic as a pass catcher, and he can be that security blanket for Trey Lance. One player to get to, and then we'll get to another coach. Who do you think that coach is going to be? Take your guess right now in the comment section. As for the player, it's Javon Kinlaw. If he dominates, this 49ers defensive line will be a handful. If he doesn't play well, I think the Niners will be able to survive because of the quality of talent, the premier talent, and the depth along that defensive line. But if Javon Kinlaw just ends up playing like Warren Sapp, I think we're talking about a historic defensive line for San Francisco. Coming in at number 10, we go back to the coaching staff. I'm going with Brian Griese. He makes the move from the broadcast booth to one of the most important position coaches in the National Football League because of the importance of getting Trey Lance ready and getting Trey Lance right. Can you imagine going from the broadcast booth on Monday Night Football to having a huge project on your table, and you basically have to streamline the development of Trey Lance, and you are forced with the task of having Trey Lance ready to play, and not just play solid. Like, he has to play pretty well for the Niners to reach their Super Bowl aspirations. And for a first-time coach who doesn't have any experience being on the sideline, yes, he has experience with Mike Shanahan and the Shanahan offensive system, but for a first-time position coach, Brian Griese certainly has his plate full with the development of Trey Lance. So what do you think of my list of the 10 most important Niners going into 2022? Grade it for me, and feel free to rip me in the comment section right now if you want. A, B, C, D, or F. In the meantime, I'm looking at the caller queue. We're going to go first up to Draco, then we're going to go to David, L.A., and Fryer. Also in the caller queue, those of you in the caller queue or hopping into the caller queue, get your most important Niner ready right now because I want you to be ready when I call on you. And we're ready to take those calls right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. Kicking off our caller line, we're going to go to Draco, who's tuned in once again. Draco, make sure you unmute yourself. Welcome on to the 49ers Report. Hope you're doing well. And tee off. Who's your most important Niner going into 2022?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't even think there is the most important 49er because a team is a team altogether. If one group failed, the whole team gonna fail, as you can see. Defense and offense could win as much as they want to. As it's how failing, they gonna lose altogether.
I like that. I like the team concept of it. Now, I saw you into the caller queue before we started the segment. Did you have any questions that you needed to ask? Did you have any opinions that you wanted to share? Feel free to use this as your platform, my guy.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as I got in the chat earlier on YouTube, I was instantly getting attacked by bots. I said, oh, no.
Why were you getting attacked by bots? I didn't see why because I was doing the show.
Because I think I had said that when you said you see me in the Cowboys hat, I said, I know you ain't see me with a gay flag on my head.
No, I just saw you in like the cowboy hat, or was it like a sheriff's type of hat? What type of hat was it?
It was a sheriff.
Okay,
yeah,
a sheriff's hat. That's what I meant to say. I apologize if that led to you getting attacked by the bots.
It was like Cowboys. Oh, yeah, we got to kick him off the team.
Yeah, not a Dallas Cowboys hat and not a cowboy hat. to clear up any confusion for any of the homies here who are subscribed to the 49ers Report, it was a sheriff's hat. Was that for work for you?
Yeah, I do security
Okay.
on the strip.
Well, it was a good look on the Las Vegas Strip, so that's big time. You got anything else?
No, not besides. I'm hurry up and ready for Jimmy to go so we can live life.
I'm with you. Move forward with Trey Lance so he doesn't have to worry about Jimmy Garoppolo breathing down his neck. As always, Draco, appreciate you for joining the show. Next up, we're going to go to David. David, you're tuned in once again. I'm going to make you the next caller. Who is your most important 49er going into this upcoming season? If you have a couple of names, you can let me know, but your most important at the very least. Who is it?
I say I like Kittle, Brian Ayuk, Fred Warner. Before I got to the show, I was looking at Fred Warner's highlights for the whole career, his whole career in his 49ers. He has some really good highlights.
Oh, some incredible highlights, man. I mean, that's why he's paid as one of the highest paid linebackers in the NFL. And you just listed guys who we just talked about on the list.
The best one for me when he innocent Goff and ran all the way to the touchdown. That was the best one for me.
Okay, yeah.
Because all my family is all Rams fans, and we usually bet all the Rams in the 49er games, $50, like $80. I was like up to like 200, but I lost it all. I went double all the money, and we lost the NFC Championship.
You know what's funny, David? I remember you saying that your family is Rams fans. So Chat Sports is based in Dallas, Texas. I went for a run this morning on a really popular running trail here in Dallas, and you always see people representing their respective sports teams. But today, for the first time ever, regardless of where I've been traveling to, where I've been, I saw my first Rams Super Bowl t-shirt. So that means that there aren't a lot of Rams fans out there, but I ran by and I kind of snarled at them with my headphones in, and I was like, you know what? You're a fake phony of that franchise. You're not a real fan. But I thought it was pretty funny, and I did think
because they won the Super Bowl and they got lucky. I did buy my dad a Cooper Kupp jersey for his Father's Day.
Yeah, that's certainly a pretty expensive gift. And for Cooper Kupp, whether you like the Rams or not, he's coming off a marvelous season.
I don't like the Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the Rams. Yeah.
I'm with you.
I got like $100 right now on the game. So both week 4 and 8. So I'll probably bet more.
Okay, so you got 100 bones on the Niners to take down the Rams. Is that $100 for each game or combined between the two?
Both games, 50-50.
Okay, nice. So you're a high roller then. Yeah. A lot at stake between you and the family. Bragging rights are on the line, David.
Yeah, exactly. And after when the Rams won the Super Bowl, they're all bragging about me. Oh, your gay bay 49ers. Oh, they choke and this and this and that. They always tell me on the gay bay and all that. Some fucking lamb. I call them lambs.
Yeah, they're the Los Angeles Lambs. David, you got anything else before we get to the next caller?
No, I don't. You have a good day, and I'll be on it. I'll let somebody else could talk. You have a good one, man.
Thanks for calling into the show.
Yeah, you too, man.
Next up on the 49ers Report, we're going to go to L.A. L.A., you're next up on the show. Make sure you unmute yourself. Welcome on to the 49ers Report, and we'll start off with your most important Niner, and then whatever else you have for me, just let me know.
Hey, Chase. Thanks for having me. Can you hear me?
I can. Thanks for joining the show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I think Trey Lance is probably the most important this year. I agree with Draco that, it's a team effort, but, when you take the talent that Trey Lance has and you compare it with other quarterbacks, I just don't think there's a, really way we can win all the way without Trey Lance being, the guy we wanted him to be.
Yeah, especially the talent at that quarterback spot that Kyle Shanahan now has. You look at the quarterbacks that he's been able to coach throughout his head coaching tenure, Jimmy Garoppolo, C.J. Beathard, Nick Mullins, none of them have the physical skill set of Trey Lance. That's why I'm so excited for him in 2022. Now, I asked you about your most important Niner. What else do you have for me? Do you have a question? Do you have an opinion that you want to talk about? What do you got for me?
Well, just I would agree with Trent Williams as well because he's such a dominant player, and he's probably one of the best players in the league. So I agree, but if we get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and bring in J.C. Treader, I think that would be helpful for the line in general, like for the success of the line in general. So maybe that can change a little bit if we get him. Hopefully we can. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm so excited.
I'm pretty surprised, LA, that J.C. Treader has not been signed yet. We're talking about a center who's been one of the best in the NFL. Over the last couple of years, the numbers that he's been able to put up have been really, really impressive. And for San Francisco, this is a team that's ready to win right now. They have Jake Brendel as their starting center, and there are questions about him because he's never assumed that role before. And this is a huge position of importance, especially considering the level of play that we saw from Alex Mack last year. So a lot of pressure on Jake Brendel, and if he doesn't work out early in training camp or in the preseason and J.C. Treader is still out there, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if the Niners make the call. You got anything else, LA?
Yeah, Chase, I just want to say, I've been looking at the standings here from last year when we went into the playoffs, and I see, Green Bay, they lost their number one. They lost Devontae Adams. Number two is Tampa Bay. They just lost Gronkowski. Dallas is number three. They lost Amari Cooper. The Rams did lose a few key pieces, but they also, got better as well. And then Arizona lost Chandler Jones. So, going into this new year, I really think we have a great chance, like I said a few weeks ago, to make the Super Bowl. And, just looking at it just makes me excited because, the AFC got to duke it out and see who wins on their side. But I think it's definitely doable for us this year.
I think it's totally doable. I think San Francisco has arguably one of the best coaching staffs in the division. I think they have some of the most talent in the NFC West as well. I think a lot of it comes down to injuries, and a lot of it comes down to what we've talked about on today's show of the 10 most important Niners. Like, all of these guys pretty much have to step up, and they have to have good seasons in order for the Niners to reach those Super Bowl expectations. They have all pros. They have Pro Bowlers. They have a really good coach. Trey Lance, of course, has to give you something at the quarterback position, but this division, it's going to be, once again, one of the more competitive divisions in the National Football League, and the Niners do have an opportunity to win it. So with that, I want to ask the audience this. Who is going to win the NFC West? Is it going to be San Francisco, Arizona, Seattle, or the Los Angeles Rams? Let me know in the comment section right now, and that'll wrap up our YouTube segment. Appreciate all of you for watching us.